Don't mess with a funny man. Let me tell you about what happened when I was younger. I know the story may seem made up, but stay with me here. It was as true as the sky is blue. It was Halloween, once my favorite holiday of them all. It all happened around 5 or 6 years ago. In our small mountain town, everybody went nuts on Halloween. And it was quite the sight to see. If you are not from town and you managed to get there on Halloween, then you'd feel like you were some sort of theme park of some sort. I had neighbors that would pull out all the stops, decorating the house, the yard, and setting up little jump scares for the kids that would trick or treat. Skeletons as far as the eyes could see, witches and ghosts, coffins that would open up as you would walk past them. It was pretty cool, actually. I was about 16, and so were my friends. By that age, we would consider ourselves almost adults, and in our mind, we were too old to be trick-or-treating, but we loved the holiday, even though our souls remained young. We all wanted to dress up in different costumes and scare people, but we'd think that the other kids, the bigger ones to be exact, would make fun of us. So all we could do was walk around at night, in our normal clothes, and see if anything interesting would happen. It wasn't as fun as I mentioned before, but hey, what could you do? We thought that maybe we would trash some mailboxes while we were at it. The teenage rebellion was strong at that time, and we all wanted to look cool and do cool things. And that's what we saw in the movies, so we thought of emulating it. Anyway, one of us had a pack of cigarettes, and even though I hate them now and think they're a disgusting habit, we decided to go to the park that was on the edge of town and light up there. We knew that no one would be there at that hour, and we would be safe and none of our parents would see us doing it, or we'd be in so much trouble. We got there and took a seat on the blue bench that was close to the swings. We each pulled out a cigarette from the pack, and as I was going to light it, something caught my eye a couple feet opposite of us. The streetlight was busted, and all I could see was a silhouette. I couldn't figure out if there was really somebody there, or my imagination started to act wild. I told my buddies, and we all got up and tried to figure out what it was. A few seconds later, the silhouette took a couple steps out of the shadows. At first, we were kind of creeped out. Maybe it was some kind of murderer or something. I forgot to mention that we watched a bunch of horror movies before we went out. But as soon as the guy came from under the darkness, and we could see him clearly, we all started laughing. It was a guy dressed up in the most ridiculous clown costume I've ever seen. With the crazy multicolored wig, flower pinned to his chest, and the big red nose and everything. He even wore those oversized shoes. We all went to him. We were not bad kids, but as I said, we were rebellious. We thought that anything that we didn't consider cool deserved to be made fun of. So that's just what we did. We started to call him names, we taunted him, asked him if he was lost, and even walked up to him, took off his nose and threw it in his face, while we were all laughing. We thought we were such badasses because we were making fun of someone. As we all did that, the clown, well, he didn't retaliate. It was really weird. He didn't even flinch. All he did was stand there, stare at us all this time. He managed a large grin on his face. Sure, it may sound creepy now, but at the time we weren't scared. To be honest, the entire situation seemed stupid to us. Soon after all of that, we all got bored and left the guy alone. Having nothing to do, we all went home. I was alone as my parents were out with my little sister trick-or-treating. I loved it when I was alone. Finally, I could get some me time, without annoying parents that are always on my back, and without my little sister who would constantly ask me stupid questions. Finally, I could be the king in the castle, and do anything I wanted for a couple hours. Feeling a little hungry, I went to the kitchen and made myself a snack, and when I opened the fridge, I saw something that was not supposed to be there. A small red ball was sitting on top of my food. Without even inspecting it, I took it out and threw it on the ground, thinking it was my sister's toy. Another reason why I was so happy to be alone without my little sister. I went back into my room to enjoy my snack and watch a show on Netflix. My bed was all a mess, and in the middle of it, a small doll looking right at me. I rolled my eyes. Again, I thought that was my sister playing in my room. She knew she wasn't supposed to go in my room. I got angry and I threw the doll on the ground, and all of a sudden, without any warning, the lights went off. I went downstairs to look at the electrical panel, and as I turned the lights back on, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I thought my dad came home, and I asked him why they didn't stay longer. He didn't respond, so I decided to turn around. I turned around, and there he was. The crazy clown guy from the park, laughing at me. I will never forget that laugh. It was so creepy and weird, like he was happy and sad at the same time. I froze and tried to punch him in my moment of panic, but he managed to grab my hand. While he was staring in my eyes with that black look and holding my hand, the next words came out of his mouth. "Naughty boys get punished," he said. He then grabbed me by the neck and was so strong that I couldn't do anything to stop him. He strangled me while maintaining eye contact and at the same time showing me that creepy grin that he always had. My vision was getting blurry, my brain was drained of oxygen, and I was about to pass out when the front door opened. They came exactly at the right time. It was my family, and upon seeing what was going on, my dad jumped in to save me. He put the clown on the ground and hit him several times. My dad was hitting him so hard, but you wouldn't believe what the clown was doing. He was just standing there and laughing. My entire family freaked out. My mom was terrified, and my dad told her to call the police, and after she snapped out of the shock, she took her phone out and dialed 911. My dad tried to contain him, but the clown was just too strong. While the police were on their way, the clown managed to push my dad away, almost throwing him into the wall. Got out a knife that he probably had in those big pockets of his. My dad told us to stay back, and he got between him and us. The clown pointed the knife towards my dad, but he was not looking at him. He was looking at me, straight into my eyes, like he was looking into my soul. He then said that, "Naughty boys always get punished, Michael." Immediately after that, he leaped towards the back door and opened it before he ran away. He escaped, and none of us got hurt, but we were all a little shook up. Unfortunately, the police never managed to catch him. There were just too many clowns in the street, and they couldn't search all of them. Besides, they thought that he might be gone by the time they arrived, hiding somewhere. They said that they would do the best that they can to identify him, but that never happened. Until this very day, I never heard anything about him ever again. During that time, my dad would call the police almost every day to ask him about the clown, but the answer was always the same. That they don't know who it was. But, you know the strangest thing about it? The strange thing was, he knew my name.